Well, I'm here at Northfield. I'm about to drive. So here's the scoop. I think I don't really need to be here tonight, but through the rain and the mud, a couple of times I had booked off, and it bothers the judges, as it should. You know, they got to go and find somebody to drive the horse that you were supposed to drive, and it bothers them after a while. So I forgot to book off. Now, what I should tell them is, hey, if there's no stable horses in, there's a 99.9% chance I'm not coming. So if you don't see Jason McGinnis at Northfield Park, you're probably not going to see Anthony McDonald. But that's up to me to do. That's not up to them. They're not my secretary. They don't work for me. So I saw that I remained listed on 3 horses tonight. Race 6, 9, and 15. The vast majority of my night. And I just got the feeling that if I had booked off tonight, they might have dinged me as maybe a little retribution for me potentially booking off in the past. So, you know what? It was one of those nights where, and the judges got a bad go of it. I didn't realize this, but last week when I booked off fair and square. After the 7th, told them I wasn't staying for the 15th. They had tried to put me on the 13th, but I said, oh, if I'm not staying for the 15th, I can't stay for the 13th. So it was a bit of a mix-up anyway. And then the track ended up being really icy, and a lot of the drivers went home. That's the type of stuff that really bothers them a lot. And I think I might have got lumped in there in the same manner. So I just did the easy thing. Come and drive your horses, right? Rather than saying you're not feeling good, or your daughter sprained her ankle, which she did. Come and drive your horses. So I'm in race 6, 9, 15 tonight. I did want to run through. It gives me time to finish some of the videos. 3-year-olds. Arrowhead Hanover trained good this week. I'll probably train him in 2-3, 2-2 next Saturday. My plan is to have him. Aunt Lily's going to be a couple more weeks. I trained her hard the other day. She trained fine. It just felt to me like she was working at it rather than, looking to get at it. And that is part of the transition as you train the horses back, but you have to be able to see that, right? Now, the next time I train her, she may have that feeling. But I just didn't get that feeling the other day. I think she just needs a little more work. She's a big, strong girl, so she needs a little more work. Whereas Arrowhead Hanover just seems great. Amy's been going with Arrowhead Hanover. He went a mile in like 2:05, come a half in a minute first over the other day in a group of 5. I can train him in 2-2 here with my eyes closed, easily. He'll be ready to go mid-March. Aunt Lily, end of March, probably should be ready to rock. Bluebird Tuxedo Hill, I trained him here in 2:5 today. He trained okay. He's got to be able to trot in 2-1, 2-2-ish. And then we'll see how that plays out moving forward. Blue Ventura is racing tonight. This may be his last start in Canada. The Ontario ranks are going to thin out a little bit as we get rid of some of the horses that just aren't good enough, right? You guys have seen them race. The High Hopes and these horses, we hoped they would be good, but I did hope Country Dancing would come back good. She looked awesome the other night. I did hope that Foxy Seaside come back good. She's been fantastic since she come back. And for every 1 or 2 of those, you're going to have a horse where you're like, okay, maybe he's not as good as we hoped. And that's where we're at with a few of these horses, and they're going to be leaving over the next week. Blue Ventura is not one of those horses that will be leaving. Blue Ventura is talented enough to race in the condition races here, the condition claimer condition races at the Meadows. He's a useful horse. He already proved he's a useful horse, and he'll continue to be in the future. He proved also last year that he likely wasn't a stake horse, and we're going to continue on with that feeling this year. But there's nothing wrong with that. Still a very good horse. Cadeau is going to race on Tuesday, I believe. We changed his shoes around, took all the bars and everything off him. Jason said he trained fantastic the other day. Let's see how he races on Tuesday. Captain Incredible trained good this week. Eric said he'll come back. He started, because of the weather, he actually missed a couple of training days. He'll start full-time twice a week on Wednesday morning, regardless, unless it is pouring rain, unless the track is horrible, and if they're calling for rain, he will train the day after or the day before. He is going to train twice a week from here on in. Century Legion trained good. He kind of toyed with them. Felt really good the other day training. We do need to work on a few things. He was less aggressive. Kathy, everything was perfect with the horse the other day. I do want to have Dr. Tessa go over him a little bit. Geez, I just feel that we should be able to just clean him up a little bit in the straightaways. but he was decent. Chicago Hall has been training good and continues to. No giant updates with him. I will be back in Ontario for the weekend, either next weekend or the weekend after, and at that point, he'll get a good training. We'll see where we're at with him. Country dancing, I was so happy to see her race good, and James thought very highly of her also. For her to hunt those horses down, move over, and then drive away from them, that's what I've been waiting to see from her for a long time. So great job by Dominic and James. Dancing by myself didn't get in this week. And we did change his shoes in preparation of the track being a little soft, a little deep, and then he didn't get in. Outsmarted ourselves, maybe. So we'll train him up this week real good. Maybe there's a class at the Meadows. I haven't checked. I'll talk to Tim about that. I don't think there is, though. Fire and Shine will qualify on Thursday. A lot of horses qualifying this Thursday. Foxy Seaside will be back in next Friday. I think the smart money was maybe on her not quite as being as effective on the front. She wasn't training down. She wasn't when we put her on the front end, and I think that has continued into this year, right? I think that's what it was, and I think James agrees. She was so good the week before off cover and has qualified hidden and raced and trained good. Just on the front was the only time she looked a bit soft and shouldn't have been. Freedom Hill is ready to go. She'll qualify next Thursday, I believe. I've been very, very happy with her. Showed a spot of blood, but we did put her on Lasix for last start of last year, so it's not that shocking. Where are we at? Gaslight Hall. He's a little bit behind everybody, but training well. Jason trained him today in 2:35. Thought he trained good. Where are we at here? Guess a Gorgeous Package is ready to go. Might train her one more stiff mile before I qualify her. There's no rush. She has to be ready to rock right out of the box. She's got 4 wins, I think. So that'd be non-winners of 4, but 5 fillies and mares, either here, the Meadows, Miami Valley, somewhere. But she's gonna have to be ready to pace 55 right out of the box. So probably gonna train her in 2 minutes or 2:1 next Saturday and see how she feels. Again, Eric said she was very good the other day. Grand Old Chap actually is training good and looks good. I'm eager to go with him Wednesday. Grand Slam Deal, of all the horses we trained back here, she has looked the best. She looks very, very good. Now, I've trained her twice in 2-3. She came out in 59 the other day on a very suspect track. It had to be off 2-3 seconds. And she looked very good. So we are going to qualify her Thursday, and I still am going to continue on with my thought process that she needs to go to Mohawk right after that. Gymboree will also be qualifying. She bled a little bit the other day. Not shocking. She bled a little bit in Kentucky also. So we'll get her squared away, get her on Lasix, and get her going. High Hopes will be leaving us this week. I think there just isn't enough depth in her. Nice skate, does her work well, just not quite enough depth with her. So that was High Hopes. I Don't Play Nice. He's leaving also. Both him and High Hopes. They're just not going to cut it. I had priced him out. We had somebody that went and looked at the horse. Same brethren, the one that bought the horse here last week, and said that he thought that both were okay. You're probably looking at the $11,000-$12,000 range. They're just not going to be competitive racehorses, and I know there's a lot of people out there that say, give them time, give them time. We've given them a lot of time. You guys know that deep down, right? You know, if I come to you, any of our groups, and say, I just don't think this horse is going to make it as a stable horse, of course, it's human nature. I'm going to be wrong once in a while. It doesn't happen that often. I've uncovered and turned over every stone that I can before I make the decision to move those horses. And if they're not going to be stable horses, they can't be here. I'm a trucker. I sent him to Ontario. I don't know what he is. He's fast, and he's a good-looking horse. I trained him here by himself in 2.7 the other day at Northfield, and he's getting better. He was better. Can we get from 2.7 to 57? I don't know. We're going to find out soon enough, though. Manhattan Money will likely be ready to school next week, I would imagine. I think he was maybe a week behind what Harry even was reporting he was. He wasn't trying to be sneaky or anything. When I saw him train in Mohawk 3 weeks ago when I was there, he didn't look like he was ready to school. He looked like he was close. He had to tune him up, screw him down a little bit, but not quite there yet. Melisandre's definitely ready to qualify. That was a great mile again the other day. She's been in 2.2 and back in 2.4 on a very off track the other day. She is good right now and ready to go. Memento Mori trained great. He's going to be another 3-4 weeks before he's ready to rock. Mountaineer Prince trained here in 2.6 the other day. He was better. One time in a row he didn't break. And he's going to have a lot of training to get it square over the next little while. Never Lose Felix trained very good here the other day. I think he'll be really good next week at the Mount. We'll see, but he looked very good the other day training. Oh He'll Know looked fantastic. I was so happy to see her. I was disappointed that Rosetta didn't quite fire, and James and I had a long conversation about Rosetta, what she might be, what she might not be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overplaying our hand with this horse. Regardless, she can listen. Those trucks run both ways. If she can't do it Mohawk, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Bring her back over here where I know she can pound them, and that's where exactly where she'll be. So I'm gonna wait to get her blood back. I'm gonna talk to Harry, I'm gonna talk to James, and we'll see where we go with Rosetta from here. But Oh He'll Know was fantastic the other night. That was a hard-fought victory. 2 moves, fought off the entire field to win the race. That was Oh He'll Know that I remember. And pay no attention to the times. James said the track is so slow right now at Mohawk. He said they may as well not even time the races. They're so inaccurate. Pelicanal, I think he's another one. He's coming to the end of his line. We have done everything we can to turn Pelicanal into even the most diluted version of his brother Charlie May, but he just has not got there. And it's disappointing, but I, at some point, have to come to the realization that we have done all we can. I find myself thinking of the medical shows where they're working on the patient, and at some point, the head doctor in the room has to say, okay, call it. And we're getting to call it with Pelicanal. And that the calling it would be his long-term future in the barn. We may be calling it soon if he doesn't come forward. Resolve Indeed is training good. Rosa and AJ qualified good. Alexander qualified horribly. Now, Harry said she was running out. She was touching her outside knee. The track was icy. There was a lot of reasons, but it's the same track everybody qualified on. So James said it was not fair to judge her on that mile. Harry said it was not fair to judge her on that mile. Those two are the ones that need to talk to. Neither of them want to waste your time or my time. So if Rosa and Alexander is not going to do it in Ontario, bring her here. I know this is a good filly. I can't say she's a stake filly. She's a good filly. And if she just isn't going to cut it over there for whatever reason, maybe she doesn't like Mohawk, maybe she doesn't get over the track well, or maybe it was just the icy track the other day, we'll find out this week. Rosetta, I just talked about her. This week will be very important. Step one, I need to see her blood work. I want to talk to Harry about it. I want to hear what his thoughts are on it. Secondly, are there any changes we can make to help her? I know she had shoes on that maybe she couldn't get over the track as well. Was it a little icy for her? I don't know. We'll find all that out this week. But first and foremost, I just need to start with the blood work. There's no point talking about what might be, what could be. Start with the blood work. Speed of Sound is going to start back jogging this week, which is good. She may have actually started back jogging last week. She should be fine now. It shouldn't take her too long. She never stood. She was in the pool, swimming, walking, now jogging. She won't be long getting back. Westland Warrior was good here the other day, but did lose a shoe. I'm going to train him. He's not going to qualify. Probably going to train him in 2-1, 2-2 here next week sometime. With the weather, I don't know. I can't give you a day. I can just tell you what I hope. In a perfect world, it would be Wednesday. 5 days back, Wednesday. But it's supposed to get nasty here. Get muddy. Not nasty like last week. That was nasty. Nasty in the form of mud. And Woodmere Betcha has been in 25. She's starting to train back now. Also, Jamie is very happy. He always was happy with her. Just need to give her a little break, a little time off. He did. She's back now going. He said she looks great, feels great, and will be ready at some point in the near future. He didn't tell me when, but if I'm going to guess, 5 weeks from now. So, with that, I'm going to let you go. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. I'm going to talk about the 2-year-olds who did top 10 list. I gave you guys a list of all the trainers today, but I'm going to do my 2-year-old list. I'm going to load all the videos overnight, and then Amy is going to come back and give you her own top 10 list. Maybe I will get Tyler tonight to do his top 10 list. I may do that. I will talk to you soon.